Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Fix Your Belief Systems, Fix Your BS, with your host, Dr. Greg Persley, also known as Dr. G, where we discuss the 5 major pillars of life: relationships, career and business, health, faith or belief, and finances or money. And today, our goal is to interview amazing people that are doing amazing things. And I've met some amazing individuals along my entrepreneurial journey. And today I have Joe Tolzmann here, and he is an amazing entrepreneur as well. And I thought he fit really well into these 5 pillars, so I had to bring him on, and I appreciate him being here. But Joe is an award-winning serial entrepreneur. He's an investor. He's a philanthropist. Joe is the founder and CEO of Rocket Plan Technologies, which is a mobile-first platform that's transforming the $500 billion a year property restoration insurance claims industry. Having established the company just before the global pandemic around the world, or that brought the world to a halt, Joe forged ahead with conviction, confidence. He was building a product that resisted any hint of a recession. Now, just 3 years in, Rocket Plan is experiencing explosive growth, dominating the industry with some of the world's largest players already on board. Joe, thank you for being here. And in your bio, you hit on something that a lot of people experienced a few years ago, which is that pandemic. And you started a business literally right before that. So tell me a little bit about, man, how did that shock your faith and your belief right in the middle of that? And how did you get through that?
Great question, Dr. G. Awesome to be here. Thanks for hosting. So, no, one of those things where people say you got to be lucky, you got to work hard, you got to work smart, but that luck part, I was so grateful for with the timing of it all. I started Rocket Plan in January of 2020. New company, got everything going, and then in March, we got slammed with lockdown. So luckily, software you can be developing remotely. So we were working right through. It was one of those things, being at the right place at the right time and getting things done.
Yeah, maybe that kind of helped you, right? Because a lot of people were at home. So that in some aspect might have been beneficial.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was watch Netflix or do some work. So I chose to do the work, and I was lucky to have a team who did the same. So we worked right through.
That's awesome. And what's really cool about that is obviously this stuff's happening. The world is going through this major change at the time. And you didn't buy into that. When we talk about belief systems, there was a lot of people that bought into a lot of belief systems that were out there instead of really thinking for themselves. And obviously you said, I think instead of me shutting down like the world, I think I'm going to use this as an opportunity. And it's funny because I did the same thing in 2020. Everybody else in my industry was shutting down as a chiropractic physician. And I said I was going to take that time and we were going to learn a new way of doing things. And we built a regenerative medicine clinic, which is doing really well now. And then through that process, built an online company as well. So tell me a little bit about that, man. Like, what was in it that made you, what's in you that made you make that decision that you were like, you know what, I'm going to use this?
Well, I don't know. My approach to everything is there's only one way, and it's forward, getting things done. So getting into anything, anticipate there will be things that are unpredictable, things that we don't plan for. So be prepared to deal with it when you get in that situation. When pandemic happened, that nobody could even imagine what's going to happen going forward. That uncertainty created a lot of stress for people. Generally speaking, nobody likes to deal with the change, but that really changed our lives. And then me in that situation, go with the flow instead of resisting to it. See what we can turn around and make work in our benefit, and just go forward with it. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And I love that. So that relates to day-to-day life for a lot of people. When things occur that they're not expecting, they have 2 options, 2 choices. And this is something I talk a lot about with either you can take responsibility and say, well, I'm going to use this. How can this benefit me? What is the good thing about this? Or you can be a victim and say, well, it's all happening to me and I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna lay down and say, I'm sad because of it or frustrated or whatever. So tell me how that taught you stuff or did that teach you stuff for the day-to-day, the way you handle things now to unexpected items that pop up?
It ties exactly into what you were just said about this victim mentality. So people can approach this like, oh, poor me, and can discuss reasons why they couldn't do something. Or for me, generally speaking, I like to stay away from people that find reasons why something shouldn't work. My approach is always like, okay, let's see how we can make this work. Going through the process, identifying what can work well, what can we leverage to continue moving forward, and just create traffic going that direction, create an atmosphere, environment within the team, and bring more people like that on board, working together, going that direction.
Man, you said it like perfectly. So like culture within the company, where did you learn about developing a culture and how to do that? And what would you say to somebody that maybe owns a company or wants to start a company, and how they can develop a great culture within the company?
Culture and it's all about people. So for anybody to do anything, especially on a bigger scale, nobody can do it on their own. You need people. And it's very important that the team is aligned at the foundation, at the core, being aligned with their values, and then build on top of it. So it takes focus, it takes time to build a team and to set out what the objectives are, what the goals are, what those core values are, making sure that everybody's on the same page, and then work there. So yeah, it's all about people.
So when you look at the core values, you'd be surprised. So I started working with Brandon Dawson a while back, and he talked about his core values, and I had a little bit, but it wasn't as well defined. You'd be surprised how many companies that I work with now, and individuals who have companies that have never really defined what those core values are, or if they have, they're just words written on a wall somewhere on a piece of paper, and they don't ever actually put them into play. So how do you put first, how did you discover your core values or create them? And then how do you put them into play every day?
Yeah, the simplest way to describe it is, one is integrity, two is dedication. So integrity, we walk the talk. So that's the basis for it. Dedication, doesn't matter how hard it is, we got to do the right thing. So everything starts from there, and then get people who are aware of that, who really believe that, and actually going to do it. So that's the start of it.
It sounds, I mean, when you put it on paper, when you put it into words, it sounds so simple. Like, we're just going to abide by these things. In practice, it can be a little trickier. When you're sitting in a interview process with people, trying to figure out, are they going to actually pull through with this integrity and be dedicated and actually pull through with these core values? Are they going to be a part of our company? So how do you identify that? Let's say you made the wrong hire. What's your process of, correcting or eliminating that person from the position?
We can tell a lot about the person from just having a conversation. So there's good indicators if that person is really going to walk the talk or not. However, sometimes we don't always pick up on it. So we all made wrong hires. Me personally, I'm not afraid to make another wrong hire. I don't want to get and cut people out of the fear, I'm going to be wrong. But when that happens, it's short-lived. So somebody can fool you in the interview, but then, Monday, when they get to work, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to find out. You're going to see the results. You're going to see the approach. How are you going to handle difficult situations? So, it's going to come up. Oil and water don't mix. That's why it's so important to lay out the culture of people, that even if somebody comes in that it's not aligned, they're just going to leave.
So, once you find out about Adrian, that's before they can get hired.
Sorry, the connection cut out. Frozen.
Yeah, I did a little bit. You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much of my conversation you heard. Frozen again.
You're back. You're good.
Yeah, we're good. Sorry, I'm not sure how much of it you heard.
No, just go back and we'll cut it in.
Okay. So the question was, How do we spot someone who is not a fit? Yeah, so during the interview process, I think there's really good indicators to decide if this person will walk the talk or not. However, sometimes people are just good actors, and we could hire them and then realize later that they're not a good fit. And I've done enough wrong hires. The fact that I was wrong, it's not gonna stop me from doing it again. I don't want to get jaded. I don't want to judge people. I want to give everybody a chance. And when you hire someone, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, once they get into it, you're gonna be able to pretty quickly spot if there's something wrong. If the person walks the talk, if they can handle difficult situations, unexpected, so it will come up.
Yeah. So once it does, I mean, that's a very difficult conversation for a lot of people. How important is it to take action on that person and go, look, this isn't working. Let's just cut ties. I mean, how important is that to somebody?
Oh, it's like the most important thing ever. So for me, it's always take the emotion out of it. Something that worked out. Nobody needs to get upset. It's just logic, common sense. This is what we're trying to achieve. Is it going to work? If it's not going to work, so no hurt feelings. Just get to the point, get the job done. So I found it to be the best way to deal with situations like this.
Yeah, one of the things I like to say is we're going to help you find a position that suits that is more aligned with your personality, which is outside of this company. But we'll help you exit this company so you can find that position.
Absolutely. I think that's fair to the person and to the rest of the team, because different people thrive in different environments. So if there's someone just not living to their full potential, it's better for them to find better environments where they can excel.
Yeah. So why waste time where nobody wins, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We spend so much time working, so it's really important we have good chemistry. We enjoy the time that we're doing the work, because that creates better life for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why create, especially if you're the owner or the entrepreneur, why create a system where you don't enjoy going in? That doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about you obviously won an award, 40 under 40. Tell me a little bit about that and how that came about, and what was the emotional connection there after you got that?
It just happened out of the blue. I got nominated by former coworkers and some of the clients, and it just got announced. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I've been trying and working all these years, and I get this great award. It was a good moment, and it really helped raise my profile. I had a lot of people from business community reaching out. That turned into new relationships, led to new opportunities. So it was good. But that was back in the day when I was running property restoration company. So it was way before Rocket Plant.
Yeah, but still, it's one of those things that people say, oh, I don't need awards, but it's always nice to have one or win something for your efforts, just to be recognized as, oh, okay, it matters. I say that about social media a lot of times. I'm putting content out there, and I don't get all excited about the vanity metrics of likes and shares and clicks, especially if it doesn't end up in a positive result where I can actually help somebody. But it is nice when somebody makes a comment like your videos are really helping, or your podcast has really changed my life in some way, shape, or form. That really helps me. I get that validation a little bit of like, it does matter. I need to keep going, because everybody has those doubts about, is this content matter or making a difference anywhere? Tell me a little bit about, your doubts and how you handle them and get over them or work with them, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah. So from the beginning of my journey, I came to Canada in 2003. I came to visit my parents right after I got out of the military in Croatia. Couldn't speak a word of English. And, it was an adventure. I always had this big ambition. I wanted to do big things, but when you don't speak the language, you can't really do anything. So I was looking for an opportunity to be with people, to practice, to learn the language. And at the time, I applied at Subway, Starbucks, Tim Hortons, and Dairy Queen. And they all laughed at me except the lady from Dairy Queen. She says, look, it's winter. I don't really need you. Nobody's buying ice cream, but if you promise you're going to stay throughout the summer, I'll hire you. I was like, great, $8 an hour. I won the lottery. I'm going to work here every single day, every shift I can get just to practice and learn how to speak. So it was challenging time, like those ice creams and blizzards and that stuff can be pretty complex to pronounce, but it really helped me build the confidence and then start doing construction work, renovations, eventually build a company to do new real estate developments and property restoration later on. But like anything in life, with growth, we always go to new areas where we haven't been before. It's uncertain, it's terrifying at times, but that's what's exciting. That's what makes it so much more pleasurable, going and exploring those new areas and growing.
Isn't it all in the perspective, where you look at it and you have this emotion and you go, is it exciting or is it terrifying? It feels like those emotions are really similar. It's just which way do you feel like you should tip on that scale into the positive or negative? And I love that, obviously your success shows that you constantly tip into the side of, well, this is exciting. And, what would you say to somebody that constantly tips the opposite direction? I mean, how do you get them to say, hey, what about this other possibility?
Yeah, it's a mindset. And I believe that's difficult for many people to have that approach. Every problem is an opportunity, or every problem could be, or me, why me? So I believe no one's life is easy. Everybody's got their struggles. Yeah, they're different for different people. But the key thing is to appreciate, to have opportunities, to work towards something. I feel in my case, my personality, I would be stressed out if I had no problems to deal with, if I had no opportunities. That would be stressful. If a day goes without the growth, it's a wasted day, wasted time. So,
Isn't it interesting though? If you take no action, you'll end up having problems of regret or financial problems or lack of drive problems or lack of purpose problems. As opposed to taking action, you have different problems. You have problems of, what do I do with all this money, or how do I grow the business, or how do I learn how to be more resilient or build better relationships. So you got problems either way is the point. Looking into the future, I mean, what are some goals that you have that you're looking forward to, that you're like, man, I can't wait to reach that, to where I can see what kind of problems are going to happen at that time?
For me, it's always been, how can I provide value, solve a problem to become more valuable? And what we're doing with Rocket Plan, we solve this problem for the entire industry, specifically when it comes to capturing documentation from job sites while repairing damaged properties to report to insurance companies and streamline that estimating, billing, and reporting process. So before Rocket Plan, it was lots of manual entry, manual data capture, and became very inefficient and stressful to people in the industry. For me, it was really rewarding to see how we were able to help small family-run business, 5 to 10 employees, to major national and international networks of restoration contractors for the very same reason. Get the data from the job site into one place, automate this process of reporting, estimating, and billing. So we're doing some serious numbers. What gets me going, what I'm looking forward to, is to break the charts, like explosive growth and off the chart metrics.
That's awesome. So, there's got to be something into the future that pulls you forward, that you're excited about, that you're like, man, I'm really, looking forward to something into the future. And what I always teach people is, you want a goal, you want something that pulls you forward, but you also want to develop contentment and happiness now, where it lives now. So is that something you abide by, in the contentment, happiness, fulfillment now type of idea?
Absolutely. I find for the most part, we always live in the future. It's like, what's next? But then it's good once in a while to get reminded, like, where are we today? Where am I today? Where was I 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago? And then, seeing that progress, become happier in a moment, but then have more energy to drive it forward.
Yeah. And that all comes with results. It doesn't necessarily always have to be positive results, but a negative result can be, what can I learn from this, to which will drive me towards positive results in the future. So it always ends up, if you keep pushing, in a positive result. Do you find that?
Absolutely. And, I remind myself being grateful to be in a position I am, being healthy. That's the key thing. And I always think, it doesn't matter what happens, for as long as I'm breathing, I'm going one way, and it's forward, and grateful to have a team and people who are on the same journey.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I have a really, really great story about, I was having a guys' night basically with a bunch of different people, and a couple of guys were complaining about something, bills and employees or something, and not complaining, but just talking about it, whatever. And one of the guys goes, if you want to get rid of all your problems and to only have one, just get yourself a brain tumor, because then all of a sudden you have one problem instead of all these other ones. And it's really true. I always talk to people about health, look, people don't care about their health until it's the only thing they care about. When their health starts to fail them, then all of a sudden it's all very important. Well, that also happens in finances. It also happens in relationships. It happens in their career. It's like their business is failing. They don't focus on it really that much until it starts to fail. And then all of a sudden it's the only thing they focus on. So how do you develop a mindset of consistent growth even when you are succeeding? How do you develop that type of, mentality?
At the base, I always want to make sure I eat healthy, I exercise enough. So that's the foundation for it. And then the next thing is to talk to as many people as possible and hear everybody out. Not necessarily listen to everybody, but, just share experience. And when people are whining and complaining about problems, it's one approach. But the other thing is like, hey, I'm dealing with this issue. What do you think about it? Because every person had something similar happen to them at some point in their life. And hearing someone else's story, going through the process, it's just a great learning experience that could be applicable to solve that specific problem. But complaining about problems without looking for solution, it's just not a good place to be. So try to stay as far away as possible from those kind of environments.
Yeah, so that's the proximity and power thing, right? There's power in proximity. It's the people you spend the most time with, which is what we talked about a little bit. If you spend your time with people that are complaining and whining, guess what? You're going to start complaining and whining about everything. So get out of that environment and get into a different one. Is that something that you really practice, trying to find and level up friends and colleagues and people around you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really selective of, people I allow into my environment. I like doing good things for people. It makes me feel good. But I really want to make sure that, there's no toxic people around. There's no negativity, because that's what makes life good, when you have people who are positive, solution-oriented, and just, looking forward to the growth.
Yeah. So if you look at the 5 pillars I talk about all the time in the Fix Your BS world, if you had to look at all 5 of them, which one stands out to you the most? We have relationships, business or career, health, faith or beliefs, or finances and money. Which one, pops out to you that you're like, oh man, that's my jam?
It's hard to pick one, because they all kind of tie in together. When you talk about relationships, business is nothing but relationships, nothing but people. Without health, nothing's going to happen. Faith, whether it's religious or not, everybody should know their purpose. If there's no purpose, we're just kind of floating around. So it's really hard to pick one.
So when you're talking about faith, we talk about faith isn't religion. Faith is a different thing. And you're talking about, it relates to more of a purpose than anything else for you. Can you dive into that?
Yeah. So for me, knowing my purpose, why I'm here, what I'm trying to achieve, how I'm going to get there, that's what gets me going. So that's like such an important part, I feel, for anybody who's doing anything. Otherwise, just like, it's another day without the purpose. There's no joy, there's no happiness. I couldn't imagine to live without the purpose.
Any final thoughts or action plans or action items that people can take that are listening to this podcast, that you would give them advice towards any of those pillars, or any thing that pops to the top of your head?
Well, I would recommend to everybody to spend some time to define their purpose. And that's, that can change. my purpose today is quite different than it was 20 years ago. So I think that's probably the most valuable thing for everybody. And then once a person knows their purpose, then it goes to all the other pillars, how to stay healthy, how to have good relationships, and how to contribute to business success, and give back. That's important, to give back, to help other people on their journey as well.
Wow, that's awesome. And I totally agree with that, man. Giving back. And that's literally what this podcast is about. It's about finding amazing people that I run into throughout my journey and that I think are amazing, to give back to other people, to give them the insights that they might not have known. So, that's a great, great advice. And I hope people really take note of that, write it down. I tell them to take notes all the time, but I love when they share on social media, through direct messages or through, just comments, the things that they've taken action on and what results they've gotten from that. So I recommend everybody does that. They should also look up Joe Tolzmann. I mean, all you got to do is go to Instagram. Joe Tolzmann is pretty simple, Tolzmann, and you'll find him and look him up. And if he did something or said something, let him know, man. That's something that we all need. We need that moment of, hey, you really helped me. We really appreciate that gratitude and appreciation. So hopefully you'll get a bunch of comments like that as well, Joe. Really appreciate you being on the podcast, taking time to do that. I look forward to doing stuff with you in the future for sure. And like I said, man, thanks for being on here, and look forward to sharing this out with everybody and, getting you some in front of some more people.
Thanks for hosting, and thanks for being inspiring, Dr. G. This was awesome.
Thanks, Joe. Once again, this is Dr. Greg Persley, also known as Dr. G, for the Fix Your BS podcast, where we talk about belief systems, the 5 major pillars of life: relationships, career or business, health, faith or beliefs, and finances and money. We look forward to sharing amazing stories, amazing, inspiring individuals that are doing really well in one or more of those pillars. Joe's definitely fits that role. And I look forward to providing you more of that even into the future as we interview more people. I look forward to seeing you on Instagram as well as any of the social media platforms. Make sure you let me know how these things have impacted your life. And I look forward to serving you into the future. Thanks for watching. Till next time.